Synthetic division is a process used to make it easier so you don't have to use long division. We are dividing polynomials by binomials using the coefficients of the dividend, those coefficients 2, -5, 5, and -2, and the value of r in the divisor x minus r. Now notice this is x minus r, we're using the value of r, so we're going to use the value x equals 1. The first step is to check to see if all variables are there and in order. We have x cubed, x squared, x, and a constant. They are there and in order. We're going to set up a table. We use the opposite of our value in the box. So in our box we're going to have 1. And then we're going to list all of our terms with the coefficients in descending order. So it's 2, -5, 5, -2. These are come from our coefficients, 2, -5, 5, and -2. The first step is to bring down the first term of 2, and then we multiply. 1 times 2 is 2. Now we're going to combine. -5 and 2 is -3, and then we repeat those steps. 1 times -3 is -3. 5 plus -3 is 2. And we do 1 times 2 is 2, -2 plus 2 is 0. That is considered our remainder. If there's no remainder, the divisor is a factor. So this means that x minus 1 is a factor because our remainder is 0. And it is a factor of 2x cubed minus 5x squared plus 5x minus 2. Now, how we write our answer is we started with the term 2x cubed. When we divide by x, we're going to have x squared. So that is our 2x squared. Minus 3 comes down to minus 3x. And then the positive 2 comes down to plus 2 with a remainder of 0. So this is when you divide, this is what you get. The next example, we have 2x cubed plus 3x squared minus 10x minus 3 divided by x plus 3. So in our box, it's going to go the opposite of the positive 3, which is -3. And then our coefficients, 2, 3, -10, -3. So we bring down the first term. Then we multiply. -3 times 2 is -6. 3 plus -6 is -3. -3 times -3 is 9. -10 plus 9 is -1. -3 times -1 is 3. -3 plus 3 is 0. Again, we know that a 0 remainder means that x plus 3 is a factor. So to write this in completely factored form, okay, as the directions say, in completely factored form, we know that x plus 3 is a factor, and we know what we got is 2x squared minus 3x minus 1. That is completely factored form. 2x squared minus 3x minus 1 cannot be factored. If you look at using the 5-step rule, that would be a -2. Nothing multiplies to give you -2, that adds to give you -3. So completely factored form is x plus 3 times 2x squared minus 3x minus 1. If this could be factored, you would need to do that in order for it to be completely factored. The next one, 6y to the 4th plus 15y cubed minus 28y minus 6. If you notice, we are missing a y squared term. We're going to need to fill that in with a 0. So in our box, we have -2. Our coefficients, 6, 15, 0, -28, -6. We bring down the 6. -2 times 6 is -12. 15 plus -12 is 3. -2 times 3 is -6. 0 plus -6 is -6. -2 times -6 is 12. -28 plus 12 is -16. Negative 2 times negative 16 is 32. And negative 6 plus 32 is 26. That is our remainder. So we would write this one. Notice we started out with a y to the 4th term. So this is going to be 6y cubed plus 3y squared minus 6y minus 16. And we will write our remainder just as we did with the long division. Our remainder is 26. That goes over y plus 2. That cannot be written in factored form because y plus 2 is not a factor, so you would just write your answer out. Another type of question they could ask is 4x minus 7 a factor? If it is a factor, yes. If the remainder is 0, and the answer would be no if the remainder is not 0. So, how do we figure that out? We divide. Now, with 4x minus 7, we know that that came from x minus 7/4, if you remember back to the 5-step factoring. So 7/4 is what is going to go in our box. For our coefficients, we have 8, 2, there's no x term, so that would be 0x, and negative 49. So 8, 2, 0, and negative 49. We bring down the 8. 7/4 times 8 is 14. 2 plus 14 is 16. 7/4 times 16 is 28. 0 plus 28 is 28. 7/4 times 28 is 49. Negative 49 plus 49 is 0. Our remainder is 0, so yes, 4x minus 7 is a factor. If we need to write that in completely factored form, we have 4x minus 7. This started out as x cubed, so we're going to have 8x squared plus 16x plus 28. We can know that right there we can factor a 4 out of that. What's left is 2x squared plus 4x plus 7. So, completely factored form would be 4 times 4x minus 7 times 2x squared plus 4x plus 7, because 2x squared plus 4x plus 7 cannot be factored. So, the answer to the question asked is yes, and then if you needed to write in completely factored form, the circled answer is what you would write. And our last example, is 2x plus 1 a factor? We need to change that to x plus 1/2, so we know that negative 1/2 goes in our box. Now, this is not 6 minus 2x squared minus 8x to the 4th is not in standard form. So I'm going to rearrange that. We have negative 8x to the 4th. There's no x cubed term. Minus 2x squared. There's no x term. Plus 6. So our coefficients, negative 8, 0, negative 2, 0, and 6. We bring down the negative 8. Negative 1/2 times negative 8 is 4. 0 plus 4 is 4. Negative 1/2 times 4 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus negative 2 is negative 4. Negative 1/2 times negative 4 is 2. 0 plus 2 is 2. Negative 1/2 times 2 is negative 1. 6 plus negative 1 is 5. So we have a remainder of 5. So the answer to the question, is 2x plus 1 a factor of 6 minus 2x squared minus 8x to the 4th? No, because there is a remainder of 5. And that is synthetic division.